Welcome to Channel 18 News. I'm Jim Rogers. When deputies were called to an assault that had occurred on Highway 11 East near FM 1870, they found a female who said she'd been thrown from a vehicle driven by Sean Allen Long, age 35, of Yantis. Yantis and the vehicle were not in the area. Deputies learned the possible locations where the subject could be found and set up at the locations awaiting Long's arrival. Deputies set up at Motel 6, where the couple had rented a room together, and at a residence on State Highway 154 just inside Wood County where Long lived. A deputy saw the vehicle exit Hopkins County on State Highway 154 and travel 0.6 of a mile inside Wood County to the residence. Long was immediately detained. He stated that the female had used methamphetamine in the hotel room and that the two were in a verbal altercation. He said he attempted to leave the hotel, but she jumped into the vehicle. He said they drove away. He said she jumped from the vehicle when they turned off FM 1870 onto State Highway 11 East. He said that he and the victim had been in a dating relationship for several weeks. She told the deputies with her that he had punched her in the face and head several times before forcefully pushing her from the vehicle. He said, "She hit me too," according to the report. When Long was arrested, an inventory of the vehicle led to a bag that Long said belonged to him. Inside the bag was a green chewing tobacco container with several baggies containing a crystal-like substance believed to be methamphetamine and pipes commonly used for smoking methamphetamine. An inventory of the hotel room found a pill container with Long's name on it, and in it baggies of crystal-like substance believed to be methamphetamine. The victim was taken to a local hospital ER by EMS, and Long is in Hopkins County Jail, charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, family violence, and with possession controlled substance penalty group 1, more than 1 gram, but less than 4 grams. When Hopkins County deputies arrived at a disturbance on County Road 3597, the wife of Johnny Glenn Kearney, age 43, of Leesburg, said he had a handgun in his hand and had threatened to kill her. She said he had placed the handgun on the dash of their vehicle. Kearney told police that he did not have a gun but had thrown it into the ditch along the county road. Deputies recovered the weapon. Kearney attempted to resist arrest by pulling away from the deputies, but was secured in handcuffs. Kearney is in Hopkins County Jail, charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and tampering with physical evidence.
Lots of people are asking, how do you know if you have the flu? Well, we asked Ben Pegues to come in from Christus Mother Frances Hospital. He is part of the infection control team there, and he gave us some tips.
We all want to know about how to keep from getting the flu this year.
That would be getting the flu vaccine.
Okay,
Most definitely, that is the first key.
Is it just any old flu vaccine? Is it a specialized type of?
So each year in March, the FDA and a council get together and they decide what strains are out in the public. And from there, they derive the concoction, if you will, for what will be in our flu strain.
Okay. So flu season is from October
to the last day in March. That is our big time that we watch for it.
Okay.
Now, it can happen anytime year-round, but that's when we're watching for it.
Okay. And so as we were talking just before we came on, at the end of flu season, then the Centers for Disease Control, with all the data that physicians like yourself have sent in, they determine what we have had and what to expect for next year.
Yes,
Is it
ma'am.
Simplified enough?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I send in data every week to DSHS, and then that translates over to the CDC.
Okay. You are an RN.
Yes, ma'am.
At Christus Mother Frances Hospital, but you've been working in Sulphur Springs a long time?
Yes, ma'am. I've been there for 18 years.
Okay.
14 to 15 in ICU, and these last few in quality and infection control.
Okay. And you are from Sulphur Springs?
Been here since '84.
Okay. Well, Ben Pegues, I know you graduated Sulphur Springs High School, and lots of folks already know you. I am happy to be meeting you again this morning.
Yes, ma'am.
We need to talk about, I haven't heard everybody here talking about the flu, having had it or knowing someone who does, but there is positive cases working now.
Yeah, we've been much better this year. We were discussing earlier where our caseload sits. Like I said, I do report weekly so that we can monitor that so we know if an influx is en route. But if we look at our numbers this year versus last year Last year at this time, we had already had 868 positive cases. Currently this year at the hospital, we've only seen 268 cases. And that's whether you're at the clinic or the hospital,
Okay.
express care, all that data comes to our department.
Okay, so, and a weekly you report to CDC what is our Sulphur Springs report, let's say, or our hospital's report.
Right, and you can look that up online and you can see where we stand.
Okay, that is very good to know. So we're a quarter of the number of cases last year. So what happens when the hospital and clinics are inundated with people with the flu, and then we have our staff and our physicians and our nurses and everyone else that are in there helping them?
You've got to be careful. Good hand hygiene. When you cough into a Kleenex or into the cuff of your arm. If you don't have soap and water nearby, you need a hand gel that's at least 60% ethyl alcohol. That helps combat the flu.
And just good old-fashioned hand washing?
That makes a big difference.
With
just soap and water.
Soap and water.
For at least 15 to 20 seconds.
Okay. So getting your flu shot, which we'll talk about some different kinds of flu shots, and hand hygiene, you think are two main?
Most definitely.
Okay, practical ways. What about the flu shot or shots? Different kinds.
There's different kinds. Like at the hospital, we require all associates to get their flu shot, just so we can help take care of our public, and so that we're not at it decreases our risk from getting the flu virus. There's different kinds. There's like a trivalent and quadrivalent. What that really means is there's different strains we're looking at. So we get the quadrivalent in our facility. It is 2 A strains and 2 B strains that are decided back in March, like I spoke of earlier.
Okay. What is a trivalent? It has 3?
It has 3, and I believe it's 2 A and 1 B that go in that.
What about babies?
Babies I would take to the pediatrician.
Okay.
Just so they can monitor that, make sure, and they do give them, but it is a different dose.
Okay, probably special, custom put together. So 6 years and up, in general, can get a flu shot, but your young children need to see their pediatrician.
Yes, ma'am.
What about elderly people?
So 65 and older, through the last 3 or 4 years, there's called a high dose, because as you get older, it's harder to obtain immunity. And we have started that over the last 2 years that we take care of our associates with that. Okay. And have had no issues.
Okay.
Good results.
So 65 and older get a high dose.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's good to know. I guess I would like to ask, how do you tell the difference if you're at home and you're starting to feel sick?
Mm-hmm.
You sat next to someone coughing and you were picking up the kids from daycare or school or whatever, and you know you've been exposed. How can you tell if you have a cold or the flu?
The biggest 2 issues will be body aches and a fever.
Okay, body aches and fever would indicate flu. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I think we know if we have the flu, we feel so miserable, we want to go somewhere to get some help.
Yes, ma'am.
But do people do fine without going to the doctor?
You can. But if you're healthy, you're healthy. But if you're not, you definitely look at getting an antiviral, because that can lessen the symptoms. It can decrease the amount of time you're sick.
Okay.
Big thing on that, though, is stay home. If you are sick, stay home. If your child is sick, they need to stay home at least 24 hours without the fever. And that doesn't mean you've given them the dose of Tylenol and you keep applying that and the fever's gone. You want the fever gone for 24 hours without medication, because you are symptomatic to the public for 5 to 7 days. You can spread the disease.
So that's another good practical help for us to kind of go by.
Yes, ma'am.
How does the CDC know, and let's go back to that, on the end of March, after they've seen everything that's happened,
right?
And this is across the nation, it's not just
Yeah,
Texas.
This is across the world.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do they know what to look for? We may not know the answer to that. Do we still talk about the bird flu and avian flu and all that?
Oh, yeah. There's lots of websites out there looking at lots of different things. So, yeah, they are looking at it from a world perspective. What's in the air? Australia is something they kind of look at, because Australia's flu season happened right before ours. So there's lots of different factors that influence that.
What about Australia's flu season, did you just say?
Theirs is right before ours, just the way the seasons fall, so they kind of look and see what's happening there and elsewhere.
Okay, because then we would come in next.
Right.
So Northeast Texas, with its weird weather ups and downs, drastic extremes at times, we're really no different than all the rest of the world as far as flu affecting us.
Not really, no ma'am.
Interesting. Well, what else can you tell us to try to keep ourselves with a very low case or positive cases working of flu in Sulphur Springs and Hopkins County?
Big thing again is just wash your hands. Avoid crowded areas. If you are sick, stay at home. It's never too late to get the flu shot. You know, people ask, when do I get it? How do I get it? And so forth. But normally get it by the end of October is the CDC's guideline. But again, it's never too late to get it. It's good. The life expectancy or shelf of it is really about 2.5 months. It takes 2 weeks to really get in your system, build up the antibodies, and, you know, make you activated per se. But it's never too late to get the flu shot.
Well, so if you had one in October, should you have another?
I actually looked that up this morning.
Okay.
In case you asked. There have been several studies done, and nothing has showed that it increased immunity after a second shot. So, like, you don't need a booster if you got it in September.
Okay. These are good things to know. None of us want to get the flu. What else can you tell? What else do you do in infection prevention at our hospital?
I look at surgeries. I look at infections for like central lines and Foley's. I also do associate health and workers' comp, so I'm out and about and really in my office.
Oh, really? So you work
I am
out.
on the floor. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What are, you mentioned central lines and Foley's. What is this?
So central lines, so it's an IV in the arm.
Okay.
Well, actually, it's up here. It's like a PICC line or a central line here in your clavicle in this area. Foley catheter for urine.
Okay.
We want to make sure that when we do those procedures that we aren't creating an infection, so we're not worsening the problem. We are very blessed to have very low infections at our facility.
So we have someone really keeping an eye on this very closely.
I look at it from an infection control standpoint, and then there's Carrie Draper, Cheyenne, McClung, and Jody Miller in quality. They look at it from a different perspective. But yeah, there are eyes having a finger on the pulse per se.
Okay. Well, that is very encouraging for all of us who are very happy that we have not only a hospital, but a hospital of the quality of Christus Mother Francis here.
Thank you.
Thank you for the work that you do. How did you come to be a registered nurse? When did you decide you wanted to go into the medical field?
Probably my mother. She's been there for 35 years and just saw what she did, and definitely a calling.
Who was your mother?
Betty Lynn Hale.
Okay. And so she was an employee at the hospital.
She still is.
Oh, she still is.
Mm-hmm.
What department is she in now?
She is in HIM, in charge master. She looks at your bills to make sure they're right.
Okay.
Make sure that we're charging for what we should charge for, and the documentation validates that purpose.
Okay, wonderful. Any other reason? And where did you go? Where did you begin your journey to your career?
PJC.
Okay.
And then working in ICU, working nights and school during the day. So
that takes an account for about 15 years you say you spent in ICU.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you seen lots of changes in the ICU department over these years?
Yes, the biggest change to me would be the telemedicine aspect.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely love that with Gallagher and Access Physicians. That is a blessing to have, because at 2 a.m, you want eyes on the patient, and you can get that with a click of a button. That's absolutely wonderful.
And more types of diagnoses are being added to our arsenal of physicians that we have.
So from a specialty standpoint,
Right.
Yes, ma'am. I know they just added pulmonology, psychiatry, and neurology through Access Physicians. So that has been just nice to keep your health care at home.
This is true. And we can. Ben Pegues, I could probably pick your brain for another hour or so, but we are limited on time. Registered nurse at Christus Mother Francis Hospital and infection prevention. And on your tags there you wear, it says, I care.
Yes, ma'am.
And I believe that you do. Thank you for coming in and helping us out this morning.
Thank you for your time.
Here's Don Julian with sports.
Lady Cats senior middle hitter Autumn Tanton has been selected to the All-State Volleyball team named by the Texas Sports Writers Association. Lady Cats volleyball coach Justin Manus talked about Tanton.
I mean, this is her second year in a row to get that honor, and it's well deserving.
What team was she on? Or
she was on third team. Okay. Out of all the first through third team, there are only 9 girls selected as middle, so she was one of the 9 in the state selected as an all-state middle.
She's a kind of player you can see playing at the next level, I'm sure.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, she is definitely the type of player. If I was still coaching in college, she'd be a kid I would be trying to recruit. We talked about her volleyball IQ. That's really hard to teach. I mean, it's something that she figured out, and she kind of made that position her own.
Yeah, she was quite an important cog for your team.
Oh, most definitely, all the way around. She was able to, control the front row as well as getting back row and make passes and get aces, make serves. So she's a well-rounded player.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I was going to ask you her main attribute, but just does quite a few things well.
Oh, you bet. Her understanding of the game would be her main attribute. I mean, she has the height, she has the length, but there's a lot that have that, but don't have the IQ that she has. So that's really going to help her, especially if she plays at the next level.
She seems to be generating some interest, and I'm sure she may have a decision to make.
Yeah, she has several schools looking at her right now, so I think it just comes down to a decision that she needs to make. And I think volleyball is what she wants to do, but it's just her decision right now.
A Lady Cats softball team dropped a pair of scrimmage games in blusty weather Monday in Forney. The Lady Cats were edged by Forney 1-0 and then lost 5-2 to Plano East. More from Lady Cats softball coach David Carrillo.
All in all, I thought we played very well against those teams. They're definitely very competitive teams for us. And, Plano East being a big 6A school, and then, of course, Forney being the defending state champions. I thought we played very well. We lost the game if you were just scoring it to Forney 1-0. And, we moved ball around a little bit, but we're also dealing with just – I've been coaching for a while, and the wind was brutal last night. It was really cold, and it got to a point I don't really think anybody wanted to be out there, but we were, and the ball was moving around a lot. So all in all, considering the weather conditions and everything else, I thought we played well. There's some mistakes that we made, but I think we can fix those. And it's just getting after. The Plano East game, it was a tight game going into the end, and then we made an error because the wind was playing crazy stuff on us, and we ended up losing that one 5-2. But again, we had runners in scoring position at the very end when time ran out, and we're getting there slowly but surely. Offensively, I feel like we can hit the ball better, but that's usually what kind of goes. Coach, it just takes time to get in your rhythm and stuff. So, that being said, I still think our pitching is doing very well, and they're competing. And overall, I feel like our kids are really competing. It's just getting back into the groove and getting some good weather. Because again, as a coach, I was sitting there thinking, man, it is really cold, and I know for those kids out there, it had to have been really cold for them, especially with the big winds.
Yesterday you talked about live pitching, and that's quite different, and you're still trying to get used to that as well as the wind and everything.
Yeah, that's true, and really, the Saturday and the yesterday were the first 2 times that we've actually been out on the dirt because of the weather. So that being said, I'm glad we're not starting out just setting records and stuff like that right now, because we always have room for improvement, and it's just going to show as we get along and as the season gets going. Those our hitting's going to improve, and we're going to be better.
How'd you pitch these games?
Bailey actually pitched against Forney, and she did a great job. Kept the ball. She walked a few more than she usually does, but I blame that too, like I said, with the conditions and the way it was. And of course, I think you try to pitch around some of those people because they are really good. And, Plano East, we started Tessa Holt, who I thought did a great job, and then Addison Cadell finished up. So, and they pitched well. Other than a few couple of boo-boos in the field that we made, the game, I think I looked at the stats, there was only 2 earned runs given that game. So, that being said, Yeah, I thought we've done well the last 2 games or 2 play days. So hopefully we continue to improve on Saturday against in that Rockwall scrimmage. And I feel like we will. And the weather's supposed to be better, so we'll see how we fare out over there.
Yeah, warmer weather, but a chance of rain, I guess.
Yeah, I had that too. So you never know when you're either dealing with the cold or the rain. So, who knows? But we'll find out. It's changing every hour, every time I look. So, but it's softball season, and that's the way it goes. But like I said, the way I feel like our team is heading, I feel like we're going to have a very good year, and the kids are getting after it, and we just got to keep on staying focused on on just getting better every day. And we'll start that again today, I guess, in practice.
Anybody impress you with the bats with that wind blowing?
Right now, I feel like Brinkley Driver's hitting the ball very well. Kelsey Wallace hitting the ball. Sadie's hitting the ball. They're really hitting the ball and stepping up right now. Allie Fight is moving the ball. We're asking her to do some certain things because we actually have her in a 2-hole right now. But Allie's very talented because she can slap, she can hit, she can bunt, she can move the ball around very, very well. So we're just kind of playing around with that. But Sierra Smith is hit the ball at times very, very well. So, that being said, the rest of us are, we're going to catch up and get going. We're not striking out a whole bunch, for the most part on the top part of our order. So that's a good thing. And, that being said, our younger kids are definitely getting a taste of it. And, because we're going to need them sometime down the road. And, I think this is good for them, because, the only thing I hate about scrimmages is the time factor because, sometimes you only get one at bat and you may be batting 12 kids. Other than that, but they're still seeing, some live pitching, but, you want them to see more, and eventually we'll start culling it down where we're batting 9 or a regular game type thing so we can get ready for our regular season opener.
The Wildcat soccer team played well in a 3-1 win over Pleasant Grove at Prim Stadium last Friday. The Wildcats pleased Wildcat soccer coach Alexi Upton.
Yeah, we played Pleasant Grove on Friday, a good 3-1 result. We played really well. It seemed like it all came together. We were moving the ball around really well, finished our chances, and we created a million chances. I mean, it seemed like every 3-4 minutes we were like, wow, we could add another one. So it's really all coming together, and we're really excited.
Let's talk about the 3 goals. It's nice to be able to talk about multiple goals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is nice to talk about multiple goals. We had a cross in, and it finished real nice. Another one was just a great individual effort. And then the last one was also another great individual effort. We got some players that are really stepping up and getting into their roles really well. So
yeah, I think Ariano had a goal, and also Diosdado and Vargas.
Yeah, Vargas was a total individual effort. He kind of beat 2 guys and kind of just did it all on his own. Same with Enrique's first one. Dios was a ball played into somebody, but they were young. That's a good thing is sophomores and juniors are stepping up and doing a lot, and that just means that they're going to have bigger, brighter years in the future. So
sound like they played good defense too against Pleasant Grove.
Yeah, they scored on us the first minute of the game, and
wow.
And we were kind of what just happened. It was kind of hit you by surprise, but then we regrouped really well and then started getting into the game. And at halftime it was 1-1, and then we kind of really pulled away. So.
Now, a team that we're quite familiar with because of playoff, Lovejoy, and so we go over there. So that should be quite a test for your team.
Yeah, I called them in the summertime, and they just was fresh off of playing in a playoff game, and they talked very highly of Sulphur Springs last year, and I said, hey, we would love to play you again. They were very, very ready to play us again. They're doing really well. They're 10-2. They're phenomenal. They're first. They'll most likely be first in the district that they play in. So, really good team, and it's gonna show us a lot. They tied Greenville 1-1, so it's gonna show us a lot about ourselves and where we're gonna match up against Greenville and in our district. So.
But you're looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Friday. We're going away there, and then we play Melissa the next Friday, and then we start district in 2 weeks. So.
The Wildcat season record is now 4-5-1.
Thanks for watching Channel 18. Have a great evening.